Good evening, Facebook. Good evening, everyone watching on Facebook Live and all of you that are tuned into our page. My name is Dr. Anise Khalif, and I'm with Acupuncture Fit. And today I'm going to talk to you about the 4 S's of how to improve back to school stress. We did a Facebook Live last night that just got some incredible engagement. People have been asking about, supplements now for their kids and what diets or food therapy they should get their kids on to help increase their energy, to help them be more focused and calm in this very, very stressful time. And I'm going to talk to you today about 4 ways, 4 S's to help improve back to school stress. So let's get right into it. The first S is sleep. I can't tell you how important sleep is for kids. Over the summer, kids have a luxury of staying up late, sleeping in the next day. So to help your kids transition to an earlier sleep schedule for the school year, you really want to ease them into the habit of time. And now is a great time to do that if you haven't, if you're starting school next week, especially. And how you want to do that is, normally if they're used to going to bed late, I'm going to highly recommend that your kids start every day until school starts going to bed about an hour early and then waking up the next day about an hour earlier. Every day you can increase it by 30 minutes to an hour and gradually get them right where you want them on that sweet spot. So it's not like they're staying up late up until the first day of school, and they can get on a right foot with sleeping early. That's going to be the first key of the 4 keys to help reducing back to school stress. So when we're talking about sleep, according to the National Sleep Foundation, these are the exact amount of hours. What I'm about to tell you now is what I tell all my patients that kids should be sleeping, and within certain age ranges especially. So the kids from 3 to 5 years old, you really want them to get about 10 to 13 hours of sleep a night. Children 6 to 13, 9 to 11 hours of sleep per night. And teenagers, yes, that's 14 and older. So 14 to 18, even 21 years, if you're in college, you really want to be getting at least 8 hours of sleep, 8 to 10 hours of sleep each night, to have a restful and energetic day. And if you're having trouble sleeping, I'm going to go into some other ways that we can help you sleep with acupuncture and some other modalities in a little bit in this Facebook Live. But again, kids 3 to 5 years old, 10 to 13 hours of sleep. Children 6 to 13, about 9 to 11 hours of sleep. And teenagers from 14 to college, you really want at least 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours of sleep every night. Now, when you're armed with this knowledge, this can help your child have a healthy, successful school year. I mean, that's what we all want. And if you have any questions about sleep or not sleeping well or sleep-related issues, please message me directly, schedule an appointment with us, and I'm going to be more than happy to go over that with you. The second S that I'm going to talk today in the 4 S's to help reduce school stress is and has to do with screens. And this ties into sleep as well, because they're finding, research is finding that kids, even adults that are on their screens before they go to bed, are causing all kinds of triggers in their body to keep them awake, consciously and even subconsciously. So really stopping that screen time at least an hour before bed is highly recommended. Maybe even keeping the phone in another room if you can, so you're not tempted, or your kids aren't tempted to just go ahead and grab that. Maybe even putting a lock on the phone so they can't use the screen after a certain number of hours, is highly recommended. Now, children under 2 years of age, I can't stress this enough, but really they should not be looking at the screen at all. Children that are 2 to 12, from my recommendation per day, shouldn't be looking at a screen for probably more than an hour. And this is what health professionals recommend. And I highly recommend in my practice. So children 2 to the ages of 12 really shouldn't be looking at a screen for more than an hour. Now, teenagers, especially like 12 and up, 12, 13, 14 and up, really you want to limit that screen time to like 2 hours a day, not really more than that. So if they're getting a lot of screen time, at school, try to, encourage them to be reading books, paper, because any more than 2 hours a day is really, really not recommended. When they're doing their homework, limiting screen time is going to help minimize eye strain, neck strain, text neck, and I'm going to do a whole Facebook Live on text neck, brain fatigue. By taking regular breaks when your kid's on a screen is going to be great. Encourage them to stand up, walk around, move their bodies around, have them gaze away from the screen. For at least, I'd say, do this every 20 minutes that they are looking at a screen. It will help a lot of these things. Again, the eye strain, the neck strain, and also brain fatigue. So just remember that kids with smartphones, I have to tie this back into sleep, tend to get less sleep, studies are showing. Consider those controls to help block and limit the amount of screen time that they're getting. So their brain can get some rest. So the tension in their neck muscles and their eyes can get some rest. So important to help improving sleep and help improving school stress in this back to school time where it can be very, very stressful. The third S in our 4 S's of back to school and limiting back to school stress are sports. And I'm holding this soccer ball from our wonderful soccer team here in Orlando City Foundation. Sports are of utmost importance for letting kids have an outlet of their stress, of their school stress, of their anxiety. It's a great way for kids to channel their frustration and their anger. Healthy sports, soccer, baseball, basketball, swimming, even just a walk if you don't have any time or very limited in your time. And I encourage you to play sports with your kids outside of school sports. Playing sports with your kids is a great way to engage with them. It's a great way to start asking questions to them, to communicate with them, talk about, how their day at school was. These open-ended questions, right? Like instead of saying, hey, did you learn anything at school today? Because that's just what? Yes or no question. Yeah, no, mom. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Whatever it is. Ask open-ended questions when you're, going on a walk with them or engaging in a physical activity or between the activities. Engaging in, hey, what did you learn at school today? Or, how's your new teacher? What have you been up to with your friends? What have you been talking about? This is a great way to engage with your children to help, minimize any stress or anxieties that they are having that they could potentially tell you in this conversation. So great communication is key through sports, and just giving them an outlet to get that energy out, to get that stress out is going to really set them up to sleep well at night and be very, very energetic in the morning. Lastly, the last S in the 4 S's of back to school and limiting back to school stress is supplementation. And I want to talk about something regarding supplementation. I always recommend my patients to always start with food therapy first. If that doesn't work, then we can add in some supplements. And what do I mean by that? I'll give you an example of breakfast. I highly, highly recommend, now that school's getting back in a swing of things, starting your kids out with one of the most important meals of the day, and that is breakfast. Starting them out with a healthy, nutritious breakfast. I highly recommend staying away from those sweet, fruity drinks or those sugary cereals, because eventually throughout the day, if your kid is starting out with that, I can't tell you the symptoms that can happen from eating one of the 3 white devils in the morning to start off your day. And that's white sugar. The other 2 white devils of the 3 are white salt and white flour. And I'm going to do another Facebook Live, but really starting with food therapy first. And that 4th S that I was talking about is supplementation. And when we talk about supplementation and stress, there's a buzzword going out there in the health and wellness space. And if you're not aware of this herbal supplement, it is called, or herbal supplementation type, it is called an adaptogen. Some very famous adaptogens out there that help reduce and limit and balance out stresses in the body. They help balance out cortisol levels in the body, your fight or your flight mode, right? Are ashwagandha, cordyceps extract, holy basil. The list it goes on and on. A bunch of my fellow physicians highly recommend these adaptogens to help manage stress. And one herbal blend that I love that I sell in my practice here is Relaxin. It's a wonderful herb blend to help calm the mind and help really get to those deep levels of sleep. If you're finding your kid is too anxious or your child's too anxious and just stressed out, from school or any of the school stresses that are happening, please shoot us a message. Come in here and see if any of the adaptogens that we recommend are right for them to help supplement, and reduce their stress. I mean, we offer magnesium supplements, we offer multivitamins. Now, so many patients, when it comes to supplements, rely on their next door neighbor or a famous doctor on TV and just kind of go with that supplement blindly. But what we offer in here is some cutting edge testing that I think is just world renowned, and literally on the forefront of finding out where the deficiencies are in your child's body. Once we figure out deficiencies in the body, then I can say, hey, well, you're going to need this herb, or you're going to need that vitamin, or, maybe we can fill in with these deficiencies to help balance out and manage the stress. So if you're hearing this and it's something that, might interest you, and, maybe it's a product to help your child relax, during the stressful time to come to go back to school, please click on that message button, message me personally. I'll respond to you and we'll get you set up with an appointment for your child to see how we can manage their stress and anxiety during this really stressful time of going back to school. Also, if you like what you're hearing, if you could please heart this and share it. I've got a free ebook on my Facebook page, and we dive into the elements in Chinese medicine and food therapy. It's all for free. Just check out our Facebook page, Acupuncture Fit. We're also on Instagram. If you see, this past week we've been posting so many articles to get you and your kids ready for this back to school time, to get them healthy, to get them happy. So I'm so excited to share this information with you about the 4 S's of back to school. Again, that's getting proper sleep, limiting screen time, introducing and playing sports at least 3, if not 4, 5 days a week to get that stress energy out, and then the proper food therapy and supplementation for your child's body, so that they can be properly nourished and ready for a wonderful, successful, and happy school year. My name is Dr. Anis Khalif with Acupuncture Fit. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a happy and healthy school year.